July 20th, 1969 was a revolutionary day in history. The first humans set foot on uncharted territory, initializing the beginning of an era. The era of exploration. Neil Armstrong, a figurehead of NASA exploration, stated, "Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand." Which is why, before acknowledging the man on the moon or praising modern revolutionaries, it is crucial that we look to the scientist who created wonder. Nicolaus Copernicus, the man at the center of history. From involvement in science and astronomy that he is known for today, Copernicus was so much more. Not only did he inspire the future, but he also took a stand against his own time period, the status quo in European society. He may have not had the intentions to spark a revolution, but nonetheless, he had a major impact on the world he hoped to change. In 1543, inside De Revolutionibus Orbium Celestium, Copernicus brought a new revolutionary idea contrary to the accepted belief of Aristotelian physics. His real impact today is felt with his studies that influence future visionaries such as Galileo, Kepler, and Sir Isaac Newton. Furthermore, he shifted the entire balance of political influence on European nations. With a man as small in power as he was, Nicholas truly founded wonder of his time. He was truly at the center of history. Now, with Copernicus's new innovations in astronomical theory, one would immediately question whether he had any opposition from skeptics. With Darwin, we had creationists attacking evolution, and with genetic engineering, we had naturalists attack the field of biological experimentation. In the 16th century, everyone was buzzing about Catholicism and Lutheranism and the power of the Church, something that made up the major culture of mainstream Europe. Like the prior examples, scientific breakthroughs were faced with controversy due to the empowerment of a large-standing culture. Geocentrism was supported by Christian beliefs in the Genesis of the Bible and was imposed by the Church itself. Because the Church was extremely trigger-happy when it came to excommunication with the motive of heresy, or making individuals outlaws for disrespecting church values. In his own text, he tried to play it safe by telling the current Pope, Pope Paul III, that he wasn't looking for trouble, but rather looking for clarification. I have accordingly no desire from your holiness that I was impelled to consider a different system of deducing the motions of the universe's spheres for no other reason than the realization that astronomers do not agree amongst themselves in their investigations of the subject. The importance of his message was significant nonetheless, because he was questioning the validity of church values. What this led to was more and more people suddenly following the footsteps of Copernicus in terms of questioning the validity of the church, utilizing skepticism as a belief. He even further explained how religious beliefs could not change his mind about the subject, as he stated in that same text, "Perhaps there will be babblers who claim to be judges of astronomy, although completely ignorant of the subject and badly distorting some passage of scripture to their purpose, will dare to find fault with my undertaking and censure it. I disregard them to the extent of despising their criticism as unfounded." He actually could have arguably started the phenomenon of questioning religious values. Continuing on, Copernicus could have arguably started the phenomenon of Baconian science, an idea that suggested the physical law can only be imposed after creating a hypothesis and then backing it up with inductive reasoning, as when he listed his report on his investigations and supported his findings with calculations and hypotheses, he created a model system for this philosophy, this scientific method, and it was crucial to multiple discoveries formed by scientists and his followers in the scientific revolution of the Renaissance. The scientific method was a system that scientists followed to reach a conclusion, and most people couldn't perform it because only scholars were able to deal with certain matters in scientific revolutions. However, due to the growth of vernacular studies following the concept of Copernicus's heliocentric system, egalitarianism spread and people began to conduct their own independent studies no matter what the social class, known as egalitarianism. Religion was suddenly being defeated by the lower class and their inventions in the scientific realm. Slowly, Copernicus began a revolution against the Catholic Church not only by questioning their validities, but also by starting a scientific revolution that further expanded upon his own discussion. The work of Copernicus is undoubtedly significant to the world as we know it. Focusing on science as the majority of his known work originates from it shows how he affected modern technology. Those he motivated were great scientists and inspirations for generations to come, such as Galileo, Kepler, and Newton. In 1597, Galileo wrote to Kepler saying that his goal was to prove Copernicus correct. In 1610, Galileo discovered Jupiter's moons, and his findings were published in Sidereus Nuncius. His findings conclusively supported the Copernican heliocentrism system. He again showed his findings in Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems in 1632. To achieve this goal, Galileo created the first modern telescope, which was 10 times more powerful than his Dutch counterpart, and this aided his research. With this aim in mind, Galileo's discoveries based on Copernicus changed the world, now creating multiple physics laws as we know it, as well as adapting multiple types of astronomical discoveries. Continuing on, we see that Copernicus not only gave Galileo a strong base, but he also gave Johann Kepler reason for his life's work as well. Johann Kepler in Astronomia Nova in 1609, and in the Harmonies of the World in 1619, gave a detailed description on the heliocentrism system. He proposed that each planet didn't move in a perfect orbit, but an elliptical one. In doing so, he built upon Copernicus's ideas and strengthened them. Although that was an important discovery, Kepler's biggest impact can be seen through his 1596 work, Prodromus Dissertationem Mathematicum Continens Mysterium Cosmographiae. In this text, he talked about planetary motion, and he gave the basis of gravity using the heliocentric theory. This was impactful because Sir Isaac Newton, following in 1687, published the same findings in Philosophia Naturalis Principalia Mathematica. This finding was the basis of modern physics and set forth the gravity that explained planetary and terrestrial movement. Continuing on, it seemed like that all of these were due to a causal deterministic stance, how every single action was set forth due to Copernicus taking a stand for the rights of scientific workers. Nicolaus Copernicus was a man of great importance, not only for his actions, but for his impacts. Mostly throughout history, taking a stand was always seen as a violent act, something that was warlike in nature, and wasn't respected amongst men as an honorable action. But the way Copernicus took a stand is often overlooked in history, for being a rather passive one, only seen as a more scientific and intellectual revolution. But from doubting and disproving commonly accepted Aristotelian physics, Copernicus took a stand against the common idea that was put in place throughout society and education, and furthermore diminished the power of the most powerful force throughout Europe, the Catholic Church. And through his courage, he inspired future visionaries such as Galileo and Kepler to do the same, creating a domino effect that affected the future as we know it. Without Copernicus, history would have been hugely different, and we possibly wouldn't have put a man on the moon, because Copernicus's concepts and changes was not only a scientific idea, but a spiritual one, as by standing up against the status quo, he created something much more than just an idea. He created wonder.